Welcome to Science from Above. This is Lucy B, and this story is titled Faith Like a Child. So this has a few different stories that I've witnessed, and I'm going to start out with my daughter. And her faith is quite amazing. A few years ago, she wanted to see a bear so badly. Now, let me remind you, I have never even seen a bear myself besides at the zoo. I have never seen one out in the wilderness. And this little girl just starts praying, and God, please, I want to see a bear. Please help me see a bear. Okay, I am not making this up, but we literally saw a bear the next day. I'm not joking. Now, this was not a glamorous sighting of a bear out in the wilderness, watching it walk or eat or whatever it may be. No, we saw a bear getting into somebody's trash that they had put out on the street. So we got a very, very close up of this bear getting into the trash. But we got a lot of footage, and we got to watch this bear for quite a while, even though I know the poor little bear could have gotten in trouble for getting into trash. It wasn't even about that. It was the fact that this little girl prayed, and literally the next day, there's her bear. It truly was unbelievable. But let me tell you I'm going to admit it. But as she's telling me that, she wants to see this bear, and then she's praying, God, that I want to see this bear, I'm telling her, but if you don't, it's okay. Oh, no, but she had full-on faith that she's going to see this bear. But I am trying to make the blow a little less harsh if she doesn't see the bear, right? The fact is this little girl, her faith was amazing. Mine was lacking. She knew she was going to see a bear. I didn't think we were going to see a bear. It was quite amazing. Fast forward a few years, and we go to a Major League Baseball game, and she makes a sign. And she's like, I want to be on the, what is it called? The little Jumbotron. She wants to be on it badly. And she's going to be on it in her mind. And she prays that she's going to be on this big screen. And here I am. Oh, but if you're not, there's a lot of people that really want to be on it. So if you don't, it's okay. Lacking faith again. She was on the jumbo screen. She was on it. It was for a long time, and I'm not even joking when I say she was on it for about 30 seconds, that they kept the camera on her to read her cute little sign that she had made. And to make it a little bit sweeter, she also got a ball that was that was played on the field. And it was just like, see, God answers my prayers. He answers it. The girl says God has never answered her prayer, so when she prays, she knows that he's going to answer her prayer. Is she asking for $1 million? No, she's not asking for $1 million. It's these little things that are important to her, that she really, really wants. And God has answered these little prayers that I think, God don't have time to do that. Thinking the prayers need to be more important versus healing somebody. And I still think that that's in my mind. I can't imagine asking, please, God, please let me see a bear. It seems silly a little bit as an adult, but as a child, these things were important. The fact is he answered both of these prayers, in which I'm trying to tell her again, hey, if he doesn't answer it, it's okay. Maybe one day. My faith, again, was lacking. Hers was not. So her faith is just on fire. She knows that God answers her prayers. And I see that a lot with adults that, it's kind of like, well, if he doesn't answer it, it's okay. It's because of this. It's because of that. But these little children, my goodness, it just blows my mind. I have a nephew, his grandma, not my mom, but his grandma on the other side, I guess. I don't personally know her, but I guess that she cusses a lot. And my little nephew is so darn cute. He says he's going to have a talk with her about her cussing because she needs to know who Jesus is, because Jesus died for us. And that little man went to his grandma and told her how it is because of Jesus that died for us. And I'm thinking, how many adults would go and do that? There may be a few, but not a lot, because their faith is just on fire. When do we lose that? I remember as a child just looking up in the moon, and I swear I could see Jesus in the moon. And I would go outside and I would talk to him because I could swear I could see him right there in the moon. I look as an adult and I'm like, where did I see Jesus in the moon? I can't make Jesus out in the moon at all. But as a kid, I could totally make him out in the moon. And I'd just go out, and I couldn't wait when it was a full moon so I could go out and talk to Jesus. I did talk to Jesus a lot as a child. My faith didn't waver whatsoever as a child. And it's kind of like going back and wishing that I had that faith. When did I lose that? Where I don't know if he's going to answer my prayer or not. When did I lose that? When do we lose that as an adult? Even these little tiny prayers that we don't think that he has time to answer. Like he's our father. And I look at my husband and the way that he is with our daughter and the things that he wants to give her. The man would give her anything in the world. And it's like, God loves us more than that. He loves us more. And it doesn't seem like that's possible, but it's so true. And why wouldn't he want to give us even greater gifts? Why would he just say, it's a small prayer, you don't need to answer that prayer? Now, again, it does say in the Bible, you don't want to ask for money, because that's not what's important. Side note, I'd read this I don't know, it was a questionnaire, and it was about, would you rather, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like meeting Jesus in person or getting $1 million. And so many people chose this $1 million. And part of it was, I don't know, a few comments were in there that said, well, I'll meet Jesus later on. Or but if I had the $1 million, I could do so much with that money for his purpose. But if God has that purpose for you and you ask, isn't he going to supply that money to make that purpose come true? Or will that money just end up corrupting you? And I have heard a saying that money makes you who you truly are. And then if you think of the Western world, it's like that's where we kind of put our trust. Even though the money says in God we trust, truly it's a lot of the times it's money where we put our trust in. This money's gonna help us here, this money's gonna help us there. But if you go and look at these different countries over in Africa, and I do work for a ministry, so it's a global ministry, and so there's a lot of people that are over, say in different poor countries. They come back and just tell these insane stories of what's going on over there and the different miracles that they get to experiencing with these people that are poor. And it's because their trust isn't in money, because they don't have money. to get their meals, they put their trust in Jesus. They completely put their trust in Jesus. And I think that's where we all are, and you kind of go back to that childlike faith. And that's what a lot of these poor countries and these Christians in these poor countries completely put their trust to get their next meal, to get their housing, roof, just basic needs. And they know that he supplies for them every single time. But yet us, it's kind of like we take advantage. Oh, I got the money. Let me just buy a meal without even saying thank you for our meal. Because we believe we got it ourselves from our work, our money, our work. But it's been God that gave us this job. It's God that's given us this money. It's God that's making sure that we're not unemployed. And it's hard to remember that. It's truly hard. But, Jesus talked about it's easier for how exactly does it go? It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. But not impossible. But if you think about it, if we're just constantly putting our faith in our money and not faith in God, our childlike faith is just gone. We've taken that faith away from God and put it in our money. And so it truly does makes me sad, but I'm just as guilty because I sit down for meals and we always try to say grace when we eat as a family. But do I always just, when I'm here eating my snack, am I thanking God for that? Not always, no. But again, here my child is fully on, faithful, praying to God that he's going to answer this prayer, and she knows it. He's going to answer it. Yep. This is what's going to happen. I prayed it. And here I am. But if you don't, how am I helping her, right? And you know what? Both times she proved me wrong, that her prayers were fully answered. And so I guess when I think of a prayer, it's definitely going to be Matthew 17:20. And just something to remember, but it's Jesus saying, because of you, little faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it'll move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So even again, you're saying this mountain moving from here to there, when you have the faith, seems kind of like the bear. Why would you pray for that? He has bigger things to worry about. It's the faith. And her faith, he was right there for her. So just something to take away, and I think something that we all need to remember in life. I know that I do. We all do, and it's trying to get that faith back, right? So thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.